Okay, Aries, this one is for you. This is Tarot Lumination for you, Aries, with your general report for September 2017. All right, so you know the drill. Watch for your sun, your moon, and rising. I'm also inviting you, please have a look at the North Node Leo playlist from months ago. It's more relevant now than ever before. Also, I invite you to watch the Leo North Node eclipse videos from recently, from the August eclipse. Again, it's more relevant now than before. All right, Aries. So cards were well shuffled in advance. We're going to shuffle some more, but I just wanted to show you this because it's kind of a unique month. It's a little bit strange. It's September season. It's Virgo season. Sure. But the reality is we're coming in with a massive wave of the Leo energy that's coming right out of the very tippy end of August. And that wave has a huge wake, whatever they call it, like a rip current almost that goes with it. And for you, Aries, okay, it's happening in your 5th house, okay? So a lot of big shifts, new changes, new evolution, new ways of being that you might not have ever experienced or known before are starting to manifest. They're going to have to manifest because there's no way out of it in your 5th house, which is very much to do with, see right over here, your 5th house, okay, Leo. So that's the Leo energy in your 5th house, but this is also where all that Leo energy is coming into with September from the end of August. So that's your house of fun and creativity, love, romance, vivid self-expression, risk, joy, the childlike nature of the self, the celebration of just being alive and being happy, and your right to be happy. And for yourself. So it might feel very, very strange for you, Aries. It might be a very strange feeling where leaving behind certain patterns of behavior that are obsolete and redundant, where you might have been very, very loving in an environment where you're essentially giving it all away for the sake of the community and everyone else, to the dereliction of self. And how is that self-loving? Okay, it might be a very loving experience up to a point, but at some point it all becomes redundant because you've got nothing left for yourself. So you're now entering a new huge chapter in life where it's all about you, where you can claim love in a way that works for you. Love, romance, creativity, self-expression, all that stuff. And this is not a love and relationship reading, okay? This is just a general report, but it happens to touch you on the 5th house, which is often associated with love and romance, as well as creativity and the broad Leo energy anyway. So enough said about that. Let's do this. Go back to the tarot, and we'll shuffle a little bit more. This is going to be what I think of as a journey spread. We're going to read from the heart energy. You might live your life through your mind, your experiences, through your conditions, your circumstances, your relationships, or whatever. But ultimately, it all comes down to living through the heart, because when the heart stops pumping, or if it's ignored, then nothing else matters. Okay? So that's how we're going to do this. And we're going to keep it simple. No jumpers, no flyers, no oracles. We're just going to read cards. No reversals, nothing. Really stripped down, bare bone, and we're just going to tell a story. Let's see what happens. All right, Aries, this is for you. We're going to cut it, and we're going to cut it again. All right, so there you go. That's your cut, and we'll just see what the story tells. This would be the energy of you at the core, all right? This will be the legacy energy that you're bringing in with you. It's history, it's the past, it's where you're coming from. It could be for years, it could be weeks, months, but for a lot of people, as I've been noticing on this channel, a lot of people have been living through a lot of turbulence recently, especially with these eclipses. And it's not just the eclipses. The whole of 16 and 2017 especially has been very, very transformational for a lot of people, with some of these very unrelenting, very heavy, grand, like T-squares and all that stuff. That's the astrology. Let's forget about that for now. We're doing tarot. This is the ever-present now as you experience the journey through September. And this is the energy of you making the deliberate, conscious decision to live through this journey. And okay, you're not just going to like go blind through it, and you're not just going to treat the whole thing as one, like fate and you're just going to float along like a cork. No, it's much more like you're going to deliberately participate in your own evolution, and you're going to grab hold of the steering wheel. It's that kind of energy. However, we are facing into the unknown here. So how do you move forward effectively and safely? Okay, that would be this kind of energy here. Like, how are we going to stabilize this journey through September? Because it's a big, big shift of energy for you, Aries, going from that where you were, coming into where you're headed now and where you're going. And it does involve risk and reward. It does involve active participation in life. And for you, that would be perfectly normal, Aries. You're definitely the one who's out there in the front just grabbing it regardless. Go for it, go for it. Undefeated, the undefeatable warrior. And no remorse, no questions, no second guessing yourself. However, with all the convolutions that have been going on recently, you might be having as wobbly a time as everybody else. Now, if you go along with the idea of the laws of attraction and how you create your own reality and things like that, then this card would feel perfectly natural to you. If you think that life happens as just a sort of a fated series of events, then this card would happen to you. It's the same energy, but you would experience it and feel it and perceive it in a very different way. This card here represents the energy that you carry within you here about hoping that you are making the right decisions as you go through the journey, like keeping your fingers crossed, hoping it all works out, and also acknowledging the fear of what might happen if it doesn't work out. That's over here in this card. And this is card which is more like to do with an outcome, where the momentum goes, where things could be heading, and we'll read that at the end. And underneath, we're going to read this in a moment. It's going to be the weather that permeates the whole situation right now for you in September. And we're going to incorporate that. You're not at the mercy. The weather doesn't own you. You're going to make the best of it. You're going to treat it as a divine blessing all the time, even if it's stormy and turbulent, or if it's beautiful and sparkly and crystal clear, no matter what. Okay? Now, some people, they are deeply affected by the weather. If it's a crappy day, they feel crappy. If it's an awesome, beautiful day, they feel awesome. And in other words, the weather owns them. And that's a little bit unhealthy. It means your own stability and happiness is being left to the elements. And that really wouldn't suit you, Aries. You would normally be much more in charge about that. We're going to look at this now. And you have the Fool. Wow. I'm very happy for you, Aries. This is almost like you're getting a divine, almost like a blessing, like a blank card from the heavens to say, you know what, Aries, you have the right and you deserve to start from scratch, absolutely from scratch, especially concerning these matters, and everything's going to be okay because we got your back. And it might be a very weird journey for you because you're essentially facing into the unknown. You might have been conducting your life in such a magnanimous, generous, humanitarian, community-oriented way for so long that you don't know anything else. And the whole idea of being selfish and claiming love for yourself, claiming your own space, your own turf, your own chance for creative self-expression, and enjoying life as a child who owns the whole world, that might feel very alien to you, as almost like, I can't do that. That's the ultimate in selfishness. No, look at it as another way. It's the ultimate in self-love, okay? People respect that. If you're constantly giving it all away, then ultimately people lose respect. They just literally take you for granted. And that can be a very unfulfilling experience after time. So let's have a look at the core. So, right now, as this experience starts to manifest, it might put you in a situation where you feel isolated because you might have been caught blindsided by what's happening now with the lead up through these eclipses in 2017. And now it's actually happening. It's actually starting to manifest, especially here in September onwards through the next year. And it might make you feel as though, wait a minute, I didn't ask for this. I didn't plan this. And now I feel all isolated and alone. I have all of this. And well, why do I feel detached and isolated from all this in part of myself? And I'm starting to sense that I have all this over here, but it's not manifested yet. So you might be feeling like you're in a state of limbo in between these two worlds that are very, very different from each other. And now it's almost like, what do I do? And from my perspective, Aries, this is very, very healthy. It would probably be very, very good right now for you to accept the idea that you are your own entity, your own being, and you have a right to be that way. And it might be shocking for you at first, that feeling of total solitude and isolation, that sense of individuation of self, where it's like you're not merged into a whole, let's say, menagerie of life, and you are not yet merged into your completely individuated self. There's an in-between, and that could make you feel isolated, because the only way that you can come to this new level of being for you, which would be happening in the fifth house here, is to go through the individuation process. There's no way out of it. That means detaching from the selfless way of being in the void, and reclaiming your identity, claiming it and owning it, and putting it in a package that would be you, which might feel very weird for you, like to deliberately isolate yourself as an individual that is separate from the community and own that identity and give yourself the right to do that. That might feel very weird. You might translate as loneliness or isolation, but it's like there's no escape, because it's on the understanding that ultimately all of us are individuated beings, and you have the right and the duty to be that way. And when you are that way, you can still share yourself very abundantly with others, okay? But you have a right to your own individuality here. And instead of saying solitary, I'm saying individual, okay? That's how I'm trying to compress this card down so that you understand it better here. Don't be scared of that, okay? What are you coming in with? Okay, well, you got the King of Cups here. So to me, it feels, Aries, that you're coming in with the absolute best of intentions, and that you are determined to take mastery of the situation. And it might also be that you might already have somebody in your pocket, so to speak, like someone who's on your side. I don't normally read the people cards as people, but in this situation, I feel it's appropriate. It might be very comforting for you to know that you're actually doing an extremely good job of handling what's happening already, and that's very noble. And yes, even though it might be extremely turbulent when it comes to matters of the heart, and moving from this way of being and transforming into this way of being over here, where you are giving yourself permission to be so-called selfish, let's call it self-love, instead of selfish in the sort of like mean, greedy, me way. It's all about self-love here. Very, very much about self-love, which you deserve. And it looks to me like you were very, very deeply supported by an individual who may be there for you in this journey, because it might be a very unstable experience for you, and they are simply concerned about your own welfare, and they have your best intentions at heart for themselves, for you. And they understand and accept that you are finding your own ways to achieve emotional mastery and dominion of this massive transformation in such a way that you can, like, end up being the boss of your life, your world, when it comes to matters of the heart, creativity, expression, all of that good stuff in the fifth Leo house. So this is good. It's like you kind of already know what's coming. You deal with it. You're understanding. You're accepting it. You already have like a tangible experience and awareness that this does exist for you, and that this limbo position where you are right now, like you're in the journey itself, the process of individuation, which is not a switch. It's not flipping a switch. It's a journey. It takes time. It takes time, what we call time here on Earth. But it's on the understanding that you're already determined, you already know you're going to prevail, and that you will attain dominion in this part of your life, where you will claim that wild, crazy thing that seems out of reach right now, but you know it exists and it's there for you. It is your God-given right, okay? So let's have a look at the present energy moving through. So you've brought this with you, and it looks like someone else has got your back too. So in some ways, you're very lucky. You got a double dose of good stuff here. All right, let's have a look at this. This is the ever-present now moving through. Okay, good, good. Oh, Aries, I'm so happy for you. It's like you're allowing this to happen and accepting it as a healing process, okay? This is really, really good news, Aries. I'm so happy for you. Probably the best thing you could do is treat this whole thing, this evolutionary journey, as a healing process. In other words, everything that needs to be healed will be revealed as you live through the life experience going in this journey. And that's very good for you. That's a healing thing. So if you treat this journey in September as the chance for a healing experience, that would be perfect. Of course, with Aries, the Virgo energy does sit in your 6th house of health and day-to-day type healing and how to rest and relax and tend to yourself. In other words, being a good nurse to yourself. In other words, you're not fighting this evolution. You're not fighting this challenge. You're actually seeing that this is really an amazing opportunity for you in your life. And it is a healing experience, and you're going to gracefully allow and accept this to unfold, because you just might have been out there too much, too far, for too long as the Aries warrior. And that kind of battle, having to exist and function in this kind of world the way we were talking about earlier, is now, because it's becoming more and more redundant, more obsolete, and it's falling away, and a new way of being is coming into existence, much more noble, much more honest, and much more true to you. It is a healing journey. It's literally a healing journey, because that's often what happens with evolution. As we reveal it to heal it, everything that needs to be healed translates into our best new self. Okay, Aries Mark II. So let's have a look. Now that we already know you're consciously aware of what's happening and you're not getting blindsided or tripped over by all of this, you are aware of what's happening and you're allowing yourself to live through it. You're making decisions to actively do that. Okay, in so doing, with the 10 of Swords here, it feels to me it's like an acceptance that I'm done with it. It's almost like in the healing process, what happens very, very quickly is when you go to the mirror, it's almost like you analyze yourself in a state of deep meditative, you can almost allow yourself to go in a dreamlike state here for September, where you allow the dream state to speak to you, and it reveals to you that enough is enough. Okay? It's enough, Aries. You've done it all. You've been it all. You've done it to the point of it's redundant. You're just repeating the same old story over and over and over and over again. There's nothing more to prove. There's no evolution that can occur here. The only way to evolve is to completely transform and flip it around to the other way of being, where you now claim the rights to be you yourself and have dominion over your world. And you don't have to put up with this anymore. You might have gone through 10 years of torture here, one year after another, one trauma situation after another, one endless thing after another, and it's taken you to the point where you're down, you're crushed, you're out, and that means you're done. But it's not the end of the world. It's just the end of a chapter, and it's on the understanding that moving forward now, you can see very clearly that there is a whole new life, a whole new light that lies ahead, so long as you understand that the rest of this is over. That looks pretty scary there, doesn't it? All right? That's over. That needs to be let go and released and gone. It could be, it's a long journey, what we're talking about here, okay, Aries? So it's not like all of a sudden this is going to go, like poof. It's on the understanding that you're carrying all this with you. You're carrying years of pain and suffering with you, and you don't have to do that anymore. So we're going to go on a massive extended healing journey where one by one, all these self-defeating things that have happened, where you've either been hurt or allowed yourself to be hurt, that's all going to be cleaned and purified and healed. And the wounds are going to be comforted and softened. You might get support in that area, and you're going to allow the support to happen to you. So that's very noble and generous. That means you're willing to receive and accept love, which is also a very, very healthy thing to do. And in so doing, the journey unfolds. So how do you do this effectively? Because you don't want to do it kind of like one of those, healing situations where you go into a doctor and say, just fix me. Tell me everything that's wrong and then fix me. Give me all the pills I need and fix me, and I'm done with it and I can go back to my life. No, it doesn't work that way. It's on the understanding that the healing is an incremental process. It's going to take time. And each situation has to be healed completely. Gently, gently, gently over a long extended period of time. So how are we going to do that effectively? So you don't blow up the model or fool yourself into thinking that you're completely cured and that everything's going to be okay when it isn't, when you're still living with 5 or 7 swords still buried deep in your back. Okay? So, okay. So, Aries, with the Lover's card here, what I'm feeling is that you make very, very big, bold, brave decisions to let the healing happen. You're already kind of putting yourself in the doctor's table, so to speak. You're already saying to yourself, I know I need to do this. I totally understand. I'm willing to do that. I have the strength, the dignity, and the humility to do that, and I can handle it all. And I know I am supported. I know I'm guided and protected, and I know it might be wobbly at first, and I might be scared to know what it's like to be individuated and come into this world again and start from scratch, on the understanding that you won't always be individuated. You can still exist as an individual in the context of a very, very deeply loving relationship. It is possible. You don't have to just give yourself away to the point of oblivion and assume that that's the only way that love exists. It is possible to have a true and genuine loving union of the highest standard, so to speak. Like some people see this, the Lover's card, as the ultimate relationship card. You can see it that way if you want. I'm feeling it more as a very important decision to be willing to accept that kind of love in your life, perhaps a loving relationship with someone who's very deeply supportive of you and would love to share your individuality with you in such a way that you understand, Aries, that in order to heal and grow and evolve and move on, it means accepting who you are in all your beauty and all your wonder, all your splendor, and understanding that you have the full right to be that, all of it. And it's okay for you to share your fully individuated, guided, blessed self with another person who might be a peer, who might be an equal, who respects you and loves you adoringly in the same way that you respect them and love them adoringly. But for this to happen, it is a decision. Okay, it's a very, very big decision. You don't have to make one decision. You can make lots and lots and lots of tiny little decisions over an extended period of time that add up to this. Okay, that adds up to this. So in so doing, that's very, very brave. Okay, you're going to need all the regal dignity and strength and power of the King of Cups here that you own inside yourself in order to move forward in this healing journey. I do see it very much as a healing journey for you, Aries. You just might have been out there in the battlefields for too long. It's time to come home to yourself and perhaps enjoy a whole new life with a mate who's very loving and adoring of you and for you of them, okay? It's reciprocal, okay? Where the individuality is respected and honored, and the dignity of self is honored and respected, and the healing journey is supported. Okay, so that's how I'm feeling this for you, Aries. So in so doing, moving forward, what do we have for you? The Queen of Cups. Oh my gosh. Wow. This is not a love reading, Aries. This is just general energy. But I have to admit that we're dealing with a lot of love energy here simply because we're dealing with the 5th house of where all this evolution and healing is happening, okay? And it is a magical mystery tour. And so luckily it's for you, Aries, it's almost like you've got a complete free pass from the heavens above to screw up however much you want. And you still can't possibly go wrong. You cannot possibly go wrong because what's happening, what you're attracting to yourself is a new version of yourself where you deeply, deeply cherish and love yourself, not in a selfish way, but in a very, very deeply loving way that you've probably never ever done before. And you might be learning that through the experience of sharing this energy. Do you see how beautifully equally matched these cards are here? The masculine, the feminine, perhaps of yourself, the divine masculine inside of you, the divine feminine inside of you are coming into perfect harmony and balance so that you can own yourself as a complete individual here, okay? Fully individuated. Now, on top of that, if you want, you can accept the idea that there might be a very loving, equal match for you out there who is very, very loving and supportive of you and is a direct reflection of your own love, the massive love power that you carry inside of you that you've been giving us away for so long to the point of depletion, but which is now your time and your right to own. Okay, so that's what I'm feeling for you here, Aries, with the Queen of Cups. And it might be so much that you might be like just staggered at how much love you do have, how much you are loved, and how much love you've been giving away. Okay, I'm not saying giving away as a gift, but giving away to the point of depletion. And that's obsolete now. There has to be like a new paradigm, a new way of being where you love yourself first. Love you first, okay, Aries? It's really important. You're going to be setting an example for the rest of us, and you're getting tremendous support. You're getting tremendous divine guidance, and you're being given a tremendous gift to screw up however you want to do it in order to heal as you figure all this stuff out and no longer allow yourself to be a pincushion for others or the life or the world or community around you. So this is feels kind of an epic reading from the way I'm feeling it here for you, Aries, especially because of this card here where you're coming to an awakening, Aries, that this is done. I don't need this anymore. I don't need to do this anymore. I don't want to be this anymore. I don't deserve this anymore. I deserve love. I deserve happiness. I can still cry in joy. I don't have to cry in suffering. It's possible. It's okay to enjoy life and be happy in a very loving, matching, equal manner with another, a significant other, as opposed to giving it all away. So what would you hope to happen? What would you be scared of that doesn't happen? Well, you have this. It's almost like when I see this card, I often think of the concept of energy flows where attention goes. We've said that plenty of times. So you might be hoping, the way I'm feeling it here, is that deep down, because you've never been here before in your life, Aries, because you're heading on a new journey here, where you are heading. You're heading into the unknown. You are literally heading into the unknown. And it's almost like you're crossing your fingers behind your back that, yeah, let's assume that most of the time I don't screw up too much and I head out on this epic journey and I start my new life again. I hope it works out. And I hope to God I get this little Ace of Cups. I know it's there, but I know that I'm going to probably have to be dealing with an awful lot of remorse and possibly some sadness over how much I've given away for so long without realizing it. But that's okay. You don't want to wallow in this energy too much. And the hope with this card is that you understand how, by a simple change and shift in attitude, which is happening here, by the willful decision to allow yourself to heal, your energy will no longer be consumed with perhaps things that would bring you down or leave you with a very deep, very chronic, long-term sense of a bit of sadness. Like, well, it's almost like, when people are dealing with lots of long-term chronic stress and they just say, well, that's life. And okay, yeah, so there are challenges and stresses in life, but it doesn't have to be that way all the time. It is possible by refocusing your attention here, which is what you are hoping to do through the healing process, that you will be on the receiving end of this little tiny miniature Ace of Cups, which will become a big Ace of Cups. Okay, like the real thing, like true love here. Okay, let's see where this is heading, coming out, towards the end of September. Oh, with the Five of Pentacles here, here's what I'm feeling, is that you're in the middle here. This is you. And as you move through September, remember with this eclipse journey here, it's a year or more. And we've only just started on it. So as you're going through, let's say, this journey, as the newly becoming individuated self, the more and more closer and closer you move towards this new self-loving version of yourself, and you allow for a potentially divinely well-matched relationship to occur, what can happen here is this feeling of impoverishment, because you might be so deeply wedded and attached to what was, to what used to be, everything that you've known, the status quo, everything that constitutes your community, your life, your world right now, where you've been giving it all away for so long. So as you migrate further and further this way, you start to get these wobbly moments, over here, where you might want to look back and go, oh no. Do you see what I'm trying to do here for you, Aries? It's like these two little guys are going together, and as you evolve, you shudder and get scared every time you have to go to the next level of evolution. And that's you being your newly evolving individuative self, every now and again feeling morose and sad, like, oh my God, I'm leaving all of that behind. Oh no, oh no. And that would leave you feel like, wait a minute, I'm leaving it all behind. That means I'm leaving it all behind. Oh no, oh no, oh no. But understand that's not the end of the world, because where you're headed is a totally beautiful thing. This is where you're headed, okay? This is where you're headed. And this is where you're headed. But it is a journey, and on the journey, there are going to be ups and downs where you're going to experience what feels like the loss of everything that you're leaving behind, as you are moving forward into everything that you deserve, which is the love, okay? So you might be feeling scared of being impoverished. In other words, what if I do let all that stuff go? Does that mean I'm going to be poor and left out and rejected and have no home to go back to? That's really, really scary. But you have to understand, this is a very long-term cumulative energy, and it can often happen simply because we were making the best decisions we could at the time about the people with whom we associate. But this is kind of over now. It's all redundant. It's all gone because a whole new world is unfolding. It's just that you might seriously miss everything that you know at present. But that's okay, because the journey will change again. And joy and love will prevail. And you are divinely blessed. And you are completely, utterly forgiven, in that you can screw up as much as you want. If you end up going back and hanging out with what you knew, that's cool too. But always the journey is forward to this, okay? And possibly this and this, like a divine union. All right, let's leave it at that. Thank you so much, Aries. Bless you. Thank you for choosing Tarot Lumination. Please come back again. Please read for your sun, moon, and rising. Please watch the North Node Leo playlist. Please watch the Leo New Moon Eclipse playlist. Please reinterpret this however you want. It's your reading. It's your story. Okay? Bye-bye, Aries. Have an awesome September. Bye. Oh, did I show you? This is a heart spread. See? I forgot to tell you. See? This is for you, Aries. This is your gift from the heart to you. Okay? Bye now.